What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. This is End Time once again with you on the mic here at DFG. And yeah, it's been just a couple of weeks since being here and chatting with you guys, and hopefully you're doing well. We are well into 2025 as we are already experiencing, at least I'm experiencing some changes, some good changes, and just wanted to share some words of encouragement, share my thoughts as well as to Monster Hunter Wilds, the beta that just dropped again for the second time, allowing more people to jump on there. And the next one that's coming up right before the game launches at the end of this month, February 2025. I'm anticipating it. No, I haven't pre ordered it. I will buy the game when it officially comes out. I have no need of pre-ordering games, and if that's your thing, that's great. But I don't think the game's gonna go anywhere, especially since I will be purchasing and playing on PC. So I'll be on Steam and playing on PC, of course, with my Elite Xbox controller. That's the way that I prefer to play. And yeah, while we're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds and the anticipation of it. Um, I hope that people are getting the best impression possible with the beta that they've released. I know a lot of influencers out there, a lot of fans of this series, a lot of channels that are dedicated specifically and only to Monster Hunter have said it time and time again that we are playing a beta, and that build that has been released by Capcom has not been touched, has not been updated. I believe it was back in December, if I'm not mistaken, when they first released it. It was the same build, and so not a lot has changed as far as any new moves, weapon sets, and all that other good stuff. So it is not the final product. It is not optimized, even with Capcom releasing their tool to measure whether your system was going to be able to handle the game or not. Uh, all of that, for me personally, it's irrelevant. If you have a halfway decent computer, meaning your computer is not 10 years plus old, you'll be fine. You won't be running it at 4K 60. I don't know. I don't play at 4K. I usually find myself at 1440p. And if I'm getting over 60 frames, preferably about 90 frames, I'm good. I'm good. I don't see uh the difference between 120, 144, whatever, 240. As long as it's smooth, as long as it plays, which brings me to another thing that I'm not too versed in. But this whole conversation about frame regeneration and fake frames, and you know what? If the tools are out there, this is my opinion, if the tools are out there and it helps the experience, the gaming experience, to be that much better, man, use it. If you don't and you're a purist or whatever, and you just turn your nose up at that, then don't use it. And if your system can handle it, that's great. I'm running a 4080, not a 4090. There's no way that I'm going to drop another $1,000 or another $1,000 plus for an upgrade. Um, I just see that the little that I know about the GPUs and technology is that these cards that are releasing uh, in these cycles on a yearly basis, the improvement is incremental. It's so minute, it's so small. And so, just like in the computing industry, they have to shift to other focuses and use other technology. Hence, this whole conversation going on about frame regeneration and what that's going to mean. DLSS 4, the improvement to that. Again, I speak to these things not as an expert, but just as a consumer, as a gamer, and more recent as a gamer on PC. And I can tell you honestly, it's overwhelming. Uh, not knowing and trying to get educated and informed as to what all these different things do to better your gaming experience. It's cool. I like to tinker. I like to learn. I like to keep my mind active. But it could be overwhelming to the consumer who, especially the one who's coming from console gaming, like myself, that it's just plug and play. We put in our game, we turn on our system, we grab our control, and we're in the game, and we don't have to mess with settings. I think only until recent, and when I say recent, I am aware that it's not, recent like in the last 6 months or whatnot, but recently we've gotten on consoles the choice between quality and performance, which again, unless you're sitting on top of your TV and you're counting pixels and in most games, again, in my opinion, I can't tell the difference. Maybe in some games you might see it look sharper, look clearer, look brighter, colors might pop, the water might look more translucent and whatnot. But, you know, for me, playing a game like Monster Hunter Wilds, I want it to look good. It doesn't have to be 4K, but what makes the game, the experience of playing Monster Hunter so great and so much fun is the actual gameplay. When you're in there and you're going on the hunt, from the prep time to going into the field to engaging that monster, and then the actual combat, that's what's important. And so we'll see. We'll see when Capcom releases here on the 28th of February 2025. That is the end of this current month that we're in. That's not too far away. We'll see. We'll see what the end product is. And at the end of the day, guys, enjoy your gaming. just enjoy the game. I'm sure it's not going to come out in a wretched state where we won't be able to enjoy playing the game. And hopefully, as time goes on, Capcom will continue to work on their title and work on this series. I think as they have always done, they've always given a lot of love to the Monster Hunter series. And the buzz is that they're anticipating Monster Hunter Wilds to be their top selling game. I mean, look at what World did, bringing it into the mainstream. That was my introduction into the Monster Hunter series. I went back and dabbled in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I did play Monster Hunter Rise as well. I put a couple of 100 hours in Rise. I definitely was playing World for quite some time and got over 1,000 hours there, and I still didn't go through all the content. I didn't do a lot of the end boss fights and whatnot. But I still had and continue to have a lot of fun with the series, and that's what it's all about, guys. Just having the fun and joining up with others, whether that be in a private lobby, which I'm excited for that we're going to be able to have here in Wilds, or play single player with no one else but yourself. That's amazing as well. I like to explore these worlds. I like to go into every nook and cranny and be very familiarized with the world. So sometimes I'll just go on farming expeditions and really just lose myself in this semi-open world. It's not a completely open world, but the just going into the different biomes and exploring is going to be a lot of fun. So I look forward to that. And after Monster Hunter Wilds, um I don't know if I have any other game that I'm anticipating in 2025. My time as a gamer, as an older gamer, is more precious to me. Um, and I'm very selective. I was having a conversation with Jay, Dark Dad, who sometimes shows up on the podcast here. Shout out to Jay. And we were talking about just how being older, we don't really got time for just playing nonsensical games. And when we say nonsensical, like a game nonsensical for me, again, this is my opinion. Don't kill me in the comments, but these online games that are like live service games. I won't be playing GTA 6. I didn't play GTA 5. I have nothing to say about that series. And the only reason I don't have anything to say about the series is because it's not my cup of tea. I mean, I know everybody and their mom might have the game. I don't. I never purchased GTA 5, never played it, was never interested. There was no appeal there for me. But I know people that play the game and they live in that world. And I can relate because I've said here time before that, the world that I like to explore and live in and have gone back to visit here in the last week or so has been Division 2. And I spent countless time in Division 1. And so, this is the shift that took place quite some time ago, where games went in that direction, where it was an online, all the time plugged in, live service games. And I was a part of that for a while. And then now it's different. I don't have that time commitment to sink uh all that time in a game that I'm not really interested in. And so I find myself going back to my retro games. I find myself going back to familiar titles that I can just pick up, play, and run with, and just enjoy myself. I've said here before, and maybe you haven't considered this, but maybe you have a game subscription now that you're getting a lot from. Maybe it's giving you the bang for the buck, but maybe it's not. Maybe you have it because there's this fear of missing out, the fear of loss. Um, and you're paying for a subscription and you're really not tapping into that library and what it has to offer. And so I've had this shift where, I find myself wish listing a lot of games. I'll go back and clean up the wish list because sometimes it's just a spur of the moment. I'm excited for something looks remotely interesting, and then I remove it because I tell myself, am I really gonna play that when I buy it? Even if it's on a deep sale like Steam, that has many a sales throughout the year. Uh, no, my library of games that I actually play, a lot of them now are either VR games or retro games. And when I mean retro, I'm still talking about games that are on the PlayStation 4 and 5, and on the Xbox. I mean, I don't consider those retro consoles, but games like Everybody's Golf, Detroit Become Human. I played those on the PS5. The Dragon's Dogma. I picked it up on the PS5. Those are games that I can go back to and play and enjoy myself playing those games. Um, so it's just narrowed down. I've been in VR a lot, especially since getting, and you'll see my MetaQuest 3 hanging. You won't see it now because it's darker in the room, but on my Catwalk VR, I've been playing Skyrim for a minute, Skyrim VR. I've been enjoying that. But I've actually really have gotten into playing um oh, now I'm gonna blank on the game. When I think about it, I'll come back to it. But I've been playing in VR, Arizona Sunshine Remake, playing that in VR on my Catwalk VR. So I'm actually in the game, walking around, getting those steps. No Man's Sky, that's the game. I've just recently got into No Man's Skies, have put in maybe 2-3 hours in VR, and wow, what an experience. I am thoroughly enjoying the game. For me, it's fun because it's exploration, but you're thinking, you're learning the systems, and that's just my type of game. I like to tinker, excuse me. I like to learn new systems. Um, that's kind of the hook. And when it's done right, it's awesome. And I'm glad that it's available in VR. It looks amazing. I play with my MetaQuest 3. I haven't tried it on my Crystal Light yet, but eventually, I will. But I go between VR and mostly I've been in VR uh over the last several weeks. Um and that's just been my gaming. So hopefully you guys have been doing the same. You've been dabbling here and there. And if you haven't and you're kind of fixated on one game, it's okay. I know what it is to be fixated on one game and playing that and nothing else. But don't miss out on so many other games that are out there. Maybe games that you have in your ever increasing backlog. I again, my purchasing of games, I have dramatically and drastically cut that down. The last game I picked up was No Man's Sky VR, and I actually popped it in, installed it, and started playing it. Um, and so it's not like I'm buying a game to add it to the collection so that I can play it later. Guys, as you get older, later is just it's just one of those things I'm always thinking about, like, what does later mean? Does it mean a week, a month, a year from now? And how realistic is that? So, maybe, and this is just my thoughts, maybe if the gaming industry takes that into consideration. I'm not a game developer, a producer, a distributor, but maybe the gaming industry needs to take that into consideration, uh, especially now that games are taking so much more time to develop, and these budgets are ridiculous. Millions upon millions of dollars, and years upon years to make a game, uh, only to put it out there, and some of the times the game doesn't even come close to recuperating all that money, and you definitely are not going to recuperate time. So, what do we do? What do we do to make games uh quicker? Maybe to scale down the scope of games, and so we don't have to spend as much, and just put more games out there. And I know that the indie scene is one that's spoken about. I've spoken about it as well, as one that's going there and putting these games out and whatnot. But you know, the reality is the gaming industry has changed, and gamers have changed, and maybe, I don't know, talking as an old dude, the younger audience is really the target. And just like in our generation, guys, the younger audience is always the target because they are going to be the ones that are going to, quote unquote, grow with you. Right. And so that if you can offer them a game and a product that they're going to commit themselves to and play over the next, I don't know, 5-10 years of their life, sounds like a good marketing strategy, right? And wise investment of time and monies. So that's what happens. But things have slowed down drastically. Technology and the incremental, quote unquote, improvement in the PC realm. Uh, you can see it. It's For me, it's no longer worth uh looking at my PC that I built last year, again, a 4080 in it, and thinking to myself, wow, I'm gonna upgrade when the 60 series comes out. Man, I'm not even thinking about that. To be honest, I wasn't even remotely interested in this 50 series. 60 series could come out, whatever comes. You know, I don't anticipate that there's gonna be some major breakthrough in anything anytime soon. So, and you know, the thing with new technology is that we got to give it time to cook, give it time in the wild, give it time to where developers actually get in there and dig into the games and can actually master these tools so that they can get the best product out there to us. So those are just my thoughts, guys, and you know, wanted to share if you've made it through this video and just this chat, you know, just off the dome. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I want to leave us with a thought, and I have to try to figure this out, guys, and I wanted to share this because I wanted this to be of encouragement as well. I like to take some time in the morning. I don't do it every morning, but I try to separate a time where I get a cup of coffee and I grab the Bible, and I'll read, and or sometimes I'll just put it on audio and just listen. And when something I hear or read just sticks with me, I like to share it in a text with a group of people that I just text. And again, I just felt like I wanted to do this on this episode. So if you're still here and you haven't tuned out and you want to listen to this part, that's great. If you want to check out at this moment, then you know, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next one. But for those who have stayed, I'm going to read from the English Standard Version in First Timothy chapter 2. I'm just going to read a couple of verses. It says, first of all, then I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. And this is the verse that stuck in my head and in my heart, and I'm sharing with you. This is good, and it is pleasing in the sight of God, our Savior, who desires all people to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. And just what I want to share with you, just a thought, and that's how I title my text that I send out to my people, to my folk out there. Just a thought. The desire of God is that we all we all would prosper, that we all would be blessed, that we all would not walk in darkness, but in the light. And what does that mean? You know, it's simple. You know, when we walk in the integrity of our hearts, that means we're an open book. It means that we have nothing to hide. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you guys, I am far from perfect. Sometimes I laugh as my thoughts and my prayers, my meditation, um, you know, just go up to God and I say, you definitely have a sense of humor. Calling a guy like me, separating a guy like me who has all these flaws, who has all these things that, you know, I don't know, are never going to be fixed, not this side of eternity. um but one thing I do know is that I've learned and I continue to learn, and I'm reminded on a daily basis, um to walk in the integrity of my heart, that is to be an open book, and not, you know, not think to myself and not fool myself and thinking that, you know, people can't really see the truth. People know the truth, whether they acknowledge it or not. That's totally irrelevant. The truth is the truth is the truth. And there are things that are objective, that will never change, that are, you might say, written in stone. And there are things that are subjective. That means it's your opinion, it's my opinion, and we don't necessarily have to agree. But we don't have to be vile and vicious towards one another. We can just go our separate ways, and we can be amiable. and amicable and just be human, right? And so, the text that I just read, it calls for prayer. It calls for prayer for anyone and everyone who is in a position of authority, in a position of leadership. Why? Because guys, I don't know about you, but I don't like drama. Hence the channel's called Drama Free Gaming. But I just don't like drama in my life, period. I stay away from drama filled people, drama filled situations, just drama in all sense of the word. And so it's made my life that much better because I have been able to push that stuff out of my life and guard my heart, guard my mind, guard my ears, guard my eyes from all that nonsense. And I have peace. I have peace with God and I have peace with others because I'm not looking to be in the know. I'm not looking to be popular. I'm not looking to please. I'm just looking to live a sound life. And so, in order to do that, I have to walk in truth. I have to deal with and accept the situation that is before me. Some of those situations are personal and for me and me alone to deal with. And some of those things I have to deal in the midst of other individuals, whether that's family, friends, co-workers, whoever it may be. But in all those things, guys, I just exhort you to pursue peace. And by doing so, you know what? You're gonna walk in the truth. And it is the desire of God that we come to the knowledge of the truth. And He's the truth. There is no black and white. There is no gray area, I should say, with God. It's either one thing or the other. And so it's not difficult. Let's be human to one another. Let's be kind to one another. Let's pray for one another. Let's wish each other well, at least, and treat each other with the dignity as human beings that we should with one another. Again, I'm not talking about here holding hands, singing kumbaya, and agreeing with one another, but the simple fact that we are human beings and the simple fact that we're not only called to pray for those in authority, those in leadership, that we may have peace amongst one another, but also that to understand that this is pleasing unto God. This is pleasing unto God, that we be at peace with one another. But in order for that to happen, we have to be at peace with Him first. And for that to happen, we have to come to the knowledge of the truth, and that is Christ. And so, beloved, I leave you with that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ear. And we'll figure this out as we go along. Maybe I'll make this a part of this segment here on this channel. But in the meantime, be good, do good, and I'll catch you on the next one. God bless.